and this common response is, I'm glad that it works for you. I'm glad that it works for you. And I go, no, it works like for 99% of the people. I watched a ton of interviews. I am the example. Like everybody's like me. Yeah, we're all so different. No, we're like 99% the same. It's only 1% we're different.
Al, how did you find Carnivore?
So it was probably one of the simplest ways that you can possibly, think of as basically a friend of mine and temporarily a boss of mine. When I asked him, I haven't seen him in a few months, and I asked him how he lost weight, and he told me he's doing carnivore. And at that time, which was only about 3 months ago, so at this time, I already heard of people eating just meat, right? And then specifically from Jordan Peterson. I think I've heard him mention that once or twice when I was watching some of his videos on YouTube. So, and I asked my friend, more details, but he didn't really give me much. He's like, he's a very down to earth person. So he just, no, we just eat meat. And my wife, who's she's been a vegetarian for like at least 10 years, she's, eating meat only. And I'm like, wow. And, his older son or one of his older sons joined. So I said, you know what, let me look into this. I've had issues with my weight probably since I quit smoking in 2006, which makes it almost 20 years. And I have like a drinking problem too. So, I've been drinking more than half of my life. And some periods it was, pretty heavily. So I'm not a drunkard that's like you'd find in the morning under a fence somewhere, or somewhere in the barn. But, once you drink, you can just sit and binge watch, shows and just have a drink after drink after drink, basically. I don't know if that's what they call like a social drinker or whatever, social alcoholic. So, and because of, I guess being overweight and, having a really close relationship with alcohol with age, I'm 51 right now. I've developed like your typical bouquet of problems of overweight addicts, right? So your blood sugar or the diabetes too, 4 years ago. And then I was also a smoker up till 2006, right? That's when I mentioned when I started gaining weight. So blood pressure, roughly around 2006. And the doctor told me right away, that I will never get rid of blood pressure. Right, that's with me till the day I die. So my mom has high blood pressure. She's overweight, um, uh, and she's got also diabetes. So people say it's genetic, right? That's you get that from your parents or your grandparents, whatever. And that's what I've been dealing with, right? I just figured that's how it's gonna be. I've tried all kinds of diets, probably the past maybe 15 years, from starving myself and exercising like crazy, which worked very well. But then how long you can do it, right? Like 2 months, 3 months, you lose weight, but then you just go and, you're full of the wagon and you start binging. Some, more of the conservative diets, like less carbs in the evening, nothing sweet. And they would work, but then I think I have a pretty weak willpower generally, and that's probably so it's not very difficult for me to fall off the wagon. So basically, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, and your weight goes up and down, up and down. So my normal weight, I'm about 5'9". So my normal weight should be roughly 180, 185 probably. But the highest I've been maybe 5 years ago was like 310 pounds. And after I had a hypertensive stroke because I went 5 years ago, 6 years ago, almost 5.5 years ago, doesn't matter. I was neglecting my high blood pressure medication, and I've been drinking. And then one day just started feeling woozy, and took me to the hospital with a very high blood pressure. I don't even remember what the numbers were. So that sort of rings a bell. Then you become all, goody two shoes, and you start eating properly. You start losing weight, and you think it's for good, and then you go bam again. So a couple of years after that, again, I went back to drinking and eating, and I'm a pretty good cook, so I don't eat junk, but I like cooking, Indian, Ukrainian, like post-Soviet, let's call it this way, and I like variety. So, but it depends on how you eat. Plus, alcohol definitely, helps you gain lots of weight. And then where you have alcohol, in a lot of cases, that's when you can't stop eating. You'll eat one portion of food, and oh, I love that borscht. So you'll have another bowl, and so on and so forth. So so I got then, my diabetes came, right? Diabetes 2. I started feeling, all the classical symptoms, very weak, urinating every 15-20 minutes, feeling thirsty. And I got, they did my blood pressure. It was like 500 points. I forgot what that's, it's like the American system, right? Or what we use here. So right after that, for about 4 months, I got under control. I was eating, what doctors prescribed. So, fruits, vegetables, meat, very low carbs, whole wheat bread, no sugars, whatever. And I lost probably close to 60 pounds, so I was very happy, very healthy, and I thought that was it. So I thought that was it. And then, 4 months down the road, where there is a drink, that's the end of it all. So I started drinking again, and slowly my weight started coming back, and obviously, well, I'm still. It doesn't matter which diet I did. My blood pressure was high, and my sugar was there. Probably would go down a little bit, right? I was like on 2,000 milligrams of metformin. So 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills in the evening. And with alcohol and with, unhealthy lifestyle, obviously you get depression. I've never been diagnosed with depression, but I think I had like a full blown, depression where you don't care. I don't think I've ever been like suicidal and stuff, but, there were times where I like didn't care if I wake up or not next day. So then loss of a job, that I had for ages, and not being able, due to my own personal problems and, other reasons, not finding the job. And thank God I had some friends that, let me work the current job that I do, hopefully temporarily. I've been in IT for 25 years, IT professional. So, but now I'm doing something totally unrelated and, hoping to get back in the field. But so anyway, long story long. When I heard of this diet, or I don't like calling it diet, like a way of eating, a lifestyle. I figured, I'm going to give it a try, right? I mean, what am I going to lose? You hear things, red meat is bad for you, fat is not good for you. You should not be eating too much. You should control your portions. You should eat 3 times a day. That was like a thing in our family, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Don't leave anything on your plate. You can't get it, from the table without your plate being empty. I grew up that way. I was not a fat kid, and I literally started gaining weight probably like around 30 years old. When I started having an issue with weight, so I noticed that I take after my mom. But still, when you can't just throw away what's on your plate, but you got to finish everything, that doesn't help. So for about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, my guess is maybe beginning of March of this year, I started doing a research on YouTube about carnivore. And, I got a bunch of videos from Dr. Ken Berry, from Dr. Baker, I believe, right? And Dr. The American doctor that lives in Australia, right? Whatever.
Chafee.
That's it. I just can't get his name. So, and then, your videos popped up. I'm guessing I probably watched, you know, if not 100 of your interviews, but, like a ton, right? I watched everything, and the past week, it wasn't, I didn't watch a lot, but maybe I should because I just fell off the wagon this weekend, really for the first time in like 2.5 months. But anyway, so for about two plus weeks, I was watching a bunch of videos, getting myself wound up and working on my sort of forcing myself to not drink again thing, and bought the meats, when I started. So, got I do sous vide for probably now maybe 5 years, but not often. So I had that. I thought I will use that a lot, because it's like the tastiest steak that you get, right? Perfectly cooked inside. And I don't know if you use it or not, but I know a lot of people do. So, just sear it and you're done. So my main concern was it was not the health issues, right? But my concerns were like, well, I love variety, right? I like variety. Yes, I can cook something and then maybe eat it, a few times throughout the week. So it's not like I eat once and throw away, but eating the same thing over and over and over, that was a concern. Plus, I love spices, I love Indian and I love it very, very spicy, and not that I cannot live without it. I don't discriminate as far as my food goes, but I like it. So I thought, okay, spices is not really a good thing if you want trying to be a carnivore. I wasn't setting my goals to be like a line diet guy. You know, uh, Financially, it's not the best time right now. So, to eat like expensive steak or, just a steak. And plus, again, the fact that I'm not, I like variety. So I figured I'll settle on BBB and E. So the day one, I was able actually to buy about like 20 pounds of some really cheap local giant food store had a sale on some bacon. They're like not cut-offs, but some where proportions or the thickness of the slices is not met up or something like that. So I bought a bunch for a really, really good price, about 20 pounds, bunch of eggs. And I started with about, I think, 6 eggs and like a third of a pound of bacon. And I really liked it. I mean, I've had omelets with bacon before, and I have like a really, really mean omelets I make, but with all kinds of veggies, and just you name it. But here's bacon, with all the fat, and then you do scramble your eggs, and I like that a lot. And I remember, I think I put like a bunch of pepper, maybe even some kind of masala sprinkled in there, and so that was good. And I tried to do 3 times a day. So I don't remember what I had for my lunch. My day starts very early, so I get up at 4:20. I work at the factory right now. So I think I had something maybe like at 9 o'clock, then tried to have something at for lunch at noon, and then I ate something in the evening. I think that might have been steak or something, and I just couldn't, I didn't feel like eating it. And I thought to myself, oh, well, I guess after all, I like steak with something else on the plate, not just plain meat. So I couldn't finish it, and for maybe a week and a half, I substituted steak with lamb. So I love lamb. I think it's the best red meat, the tastiest. So Costco here has a really good deal going. It's like a boneless leg for I think 4.99 a pound or something like that, and it's a really good. You can't even buy minced lamb or ground lamb, as they say it here, for that price in any store, right? So it's like $6 or $7. So I started doing kebabs, and just like patties and stuff like that. And I realized that 2 days a week, or a week, I'm sorry, 2 times a day is what I mean, I have my omelet. So I ended up having 8 eggs and third of a pound. And I was actually really surprised that the meat diet is, I don't need the variety. So I look for that omelet in the morning, eating that omelet. It's like a Christmas for a kid, right? I love it so much. It's delicious, like every bite. And it's been almost, well, 2.5 months now, and I can eat that omelet probably not just for breakfast, but, like just that. So I started. Finally started eating steak. I don't buy expensive steak like those round tops, round bottoms, whatever. Like the cheapest, probably inch and a half thickness steak at Costco. I don't use sous vide because it's too much pain in the butt. Really, I mean, you gotta cook it. Gotta vacuum. This and that. I had air fryer, and I air fry my steaks. So air fry them in the evening. Then in the beginning, I had like one of those thermoses, but a thermos for food. It was like a square box. So I cook stuff in the morning, stick it in thermos, and it'll be warm enough until lunch with butter, always butter, because that steak is not really fatty, that cut of the steak. Now I do everything in the evening, so I sleep a little bit longer in the morning, and I bought heating lunchbox. So I heat up my stuff like 20 minutes before lunch. It's perfectly hot. The butter melts, and I just have those like cut that takes me a while. I roughly so now I do again 5 eggs with third of a pound of bacon in the morning, and then my second meal is about 700 grams of steak generally, or lamb. So that's what is. So in 2 months, I lost 31 pound. I was like 284, and I got it to like 253 roughly. So, and I need about another 60 pounds. I'll be happy if I 60 pounds. Um, so the interesting things, the way it affected me, it's just your typical, again, typical bouquet of improvements. So day 5, I decided I'm gonna not take my metformin, and I monitored my sugar probably 3 times that day, and my sugar just stayed in the low hundreds or like high 90s, right? So since day 5, I don't take metformin medication after 4 years of diabetes too. It's normal. I've even had ice cream. I'm not a sugar addict. Like I've never been a sugar addict or ice cream, and I'll tell you about this a little later. So that's the improvement number 1. So big improvement number 2 is I've been suffering with sciatica for a little over a year, and it got to the point where walking was the least pain. So standing, I couldn't stand on my right leg. It was just killing me. Sitting, it would kill me. And even I would sleep. I would sleep with pain. I just got so used to, having pain. Uh, so there's some improvement with a special belt that I got. It was a little bit of improvement. I got it like in December when I went to visit my family in Europe. Um, so, but the second week of my carnivore, I stopped having pain when I was walking. Still, when I was standing a little bit. So week 3, it disappeared, like literally, like I never had that. So gone completely. And I mean, and me, I'm doing the job that I have at this factory is I do about a little under 20,000 steps every day. So, or not steps, yeah, that's steps, right? So it's like, what are we talking about? Like 15 kilometers a day, roughly, or something like that, 14, 15 kilometers a day. So, and, I don't know if I would be able to do this job with, sciatica killing me. So snoring, I mean, I'm on the forum for the beginners on Facebook or in the group. So you read stuff, you watch all the videos, and people like, I stopped snoring. And I have a CPAP machine for, I think it's 2016 or something like that. So I tried sleeping without the mask, and there is an improvement. So before, if I would forget my machine for some reason, let's say I'm going somewhere, for a day or two, and I forget to grab it, I'd wake up in the morning, and my throat felt like I was just came from like a heavy metal concert trying to sing with the solo, singer, like like this from snoring. So it's gone now. So I don't get to go to the restroom almost yet. And going to the restroom without a CPAP machine was at least twice a night. So now I don't have to go to the restroom, and my throat doesn't hurt. However, my Samsung app on the phone actually records me snore, so I still snore, but it probably is not as severe as it was, at least as of like a month ago. So I'm not, I don't care that much. CPAP, I like it. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it. Probably need to lose a few more pounds before that will improve. I tried to do, just out of curiosity, I tried to not use the deodorant, and maybe there's improvement, but I've used deodorant probably since I was like 17, 18 years old, always. So I don't remember how I stink. So there was like a smell, but I can't say that whether it was improvement or not. Eyesight, it's another thing that a lot of people say. Eyesight, I don't know. I don't see the difference. Joint aches and pains, I'm still a fat guy, so my knees hurt from walking a lot, and my legs get swollen, like around, ankle, or like the lower part of the leg, right? But it's probably again because of blood pressure medication and being heavy. So I'm not counting on improvements yet. My blood pressure, I think it's a little better because I would take 4 meds for blood pressure. Oh yeah, day 2 or 3, I stopped taking one of my statins. I had a statin also that they prescribed to me after I had the hypertensive stroke. But from reading everything about it, I understand, that at least, it sounds like it's something that's just baloney, a way for them to make money. So I stopped taking that, and now I'm only on one blood pressure medication, the main one that I had, and it's still a little high, but it's not like as high as it was before, even with the medication. So I'm gonna give it, I'll lose probably another 20, 30 pounds, and then I'll see if I can, wean myself off of that and see if there's improvement. Um, yeah, were you gonna say something?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, this is an awesome result after only 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I thought that my face actually looks thinner, but looking at, my video, it actually I still have pretty. So that's not good enough for results yet. But again, weight loss is, it's not. I'm not doing this for the weight loss. I'm doing this for my health, really, because just those improvements. I mean, it's amazing. Like sugar, diabetes, sciatica, that was killing me. I don't feel, probably a lot of people nowadays don't feel as old as people used to, like our parents, maybe. I'm thinking of my father when he was my age. He didn't even behave. I mean, I behave like a kid. I joke a lot, and I don't behave like a 50-year-old, my father. I think my son, who's 32, is more serious than I am. But so to me, it's very important to feel young, not feel it young physically, not just here, and that helps me a lot. And I'm hoping, like it restores it. People fix what they say, like 90% of the problems that we have with our health come from eating. And if I improve, my liver doesn't hurt. I know that, I didn't go to a doctor, but I kind of know that I probably damaged my kidneys, from drinking, right? But my kidneys don't hurt. At least I don't know if it was my kidneys, my lower back, right? It doesn't hurt. My liver doesn't, or my stomach area doesn't. Another common thing is like once you eat meat, there's no more gas, right? Burping, farting, all that is not there, which is, you don't think about it every day, but when you don't have it and you realize, oh, listen, I just ate like 10 minutes ago, or if it was normal meal, sad, or whatever, standard American diet, I'd be probably burping right now, and I'm not. So that's also an improvement, an inconvenience or convenient improvement, since, like where I come from, we don't burp, loudly. You have to kind of, you know. So, so yeah, so that's the improvements. I kind of like the negative side is the reaction of the people, right? Relatives and friends. So basically, I wouldn't be reserved about what I'm doing, what kind of diet I'm doing. So I wouldn't be advertising it, but I, tell my friends, hey, listen, I'm like doing this and this, especially if you get like a month in, you get some great results and you think that's it, I'm done improving, and well, not done improving, but I'm in the right path and everything. So I would, not brag, about my results. So this time I said, I'm not going to be just, bragging about it. So, the results will come. If people will see, they'll ask. But, here and there, somebody will say something. Oh, they say, hey, listen, let's go and eat something. I don't go out eat a lot. So, but if there are situations and I say, hey, listen, and it sort of comes out, right, that you eat only meat and, this whole thing happens. Oh, it's not good for you. Or, you know, are you crazy? You're going to have a heart attack. Or what? You already had a stroke, or blah, 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 and this and that. So some of my friends, actually, I was really surprised how negatively they reacted. And I'm not gonna say it was like because they envy, because it's not like fat friends or somebody who has like it's the opposite, the friends that actually are pretty healthy and everything. So they were like, seemed like they were not happy for me, which was a little weird. I don't know, maybe they were too concerned about my health, eating only meat. So that's sort of come down, and people, it's only been again 2.5 months, but people that my close surrounding, or they accepted the fact, and I don't have those issues anymore. My mom, in the beginning, she was also very concerned, and actually I tried to get her on Carnivore, so she started a little over a week, and she started getting obviously the weight loss right away, but she couldn't handle the carnivore flu. So she said she's not gonna eat sugars, or like basically she's gonna do like some version of keto, right? So she's gonna eat meat, but she's gonna also include like green, veggies and whatever produce. So we've been talking about this literally today and day before. She just said can't do this, blah blah blah, and it's very hard. I can't push. My mom's another side of the ocean, so I can't really be physically involved. And I'm glad that she at least not going to eat sweets and stuff, because she has the same thing, blood pressure, sugar. So, and I hope she improves. She's almost 80, and she has like this, again, basic bouquet of, joints, her back. She can't walk for longer than 100 meters without stopping, and you see, first of all, you see so many older people that even you interview, right? The way they improve. So the age is not a factor, really, if you think about it. So then I see older people her age or even older who are skinny, and how active they are, how easily for them to even charge for like 50 yards, if they're like, hey, hold the door for me, right? And some old lady my mom's age, she just runs. It's like I can't see myself run like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'd probably die from a heart attack if I do. So so yeah, so my mom, she was not very happy about that, but slowly she sort of accepted it, and tried getting her on board with that, but sort of failed. Well, part of it failed. So have a good experience, at least with one older gentleman. There's a not a flea market, like farmers market here. In the heart of the Amish country in Pennsylvania. So, and there's a guy that sells doggy treats that I always buy. Like almost every Friday, I stop over and I buy dog treats, like a fresh, um, smoked, like pig skins and feet and this and that, which sometimes I wish I could just chew on. So when I talked to him, and I know he has some issues. He had some, I think, bypass and some other things. So I talked to him, and it was like week 3, I think, for me, like a third week. And I started telling him, and I told him about some improvements. I already had diabetes was gone, right? Let's say gone, in remission. And I just told him, I didn't say anything to him. I sent him a couple of videos. Like generally, I think I sent the video is 7 things that work from, or 7 things why the carnivore works, from Dr. Ken Berry, and something else. So now, one of your later videos, I include about they lied to us about red meat or something like that, where there those short, like a really like you have a bunch of people that. So I send those videos to this guy, and 2 weeks later, I go to buy a little bit more of those snacks for my dogs, and I say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I lost 7 pounds, and I'm actually doing carnivore for a week now." And I haven't talked to him afterwards. I know that I texted him a couple weeks ago, asked him like if he's off, because he does shots. He has diabetes type 2, but he's doing shots. Um, so that's a positive experience. I got to talk to him again. We'll see. But there are other people. There's a number of other people that I started sending information, from the get-go. People that I care about, like friends that have diabetes, and this common response is, I'm glad that it works for you. I'm glad that it works for you. And I go, no, it works like for 99% of the people. I watched a ton of interviews. I am the example. Like everybody's like me. Yeah, we're all so different. No, we're like 99% the same. It's only 1% we're different. So a lot of people some people don't even watch those videos, and some people just watch them and they're just like, oh, and this one of my close friends, he has diabetes type 2, but he has to actually take shots. I told him about it. He didn't watch those videos. It was like also week 3, second or third week of my diet, or my carnivore. And then about a month after, I said, "Hey, listen, have you watched those?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Blah blah blah." Oh, he goes, "Oh yeah, but my doctor told me, I can't have red meat." And I'm like, "No, you can't. That's like the thing that's gonna cure you." So I sent him something else. I said, "Listen, buddy, this is the last video I'm sending you. I love you, but I'm not going to insist. You're a grown man and you can make." So I sent it to him, and I did it with a lot of people. I just sent a video, or like a bunch of videos, including yours, and like I have said now, some sick people. I send Michaela Peterson's video. Don't don't eat that, or something like that. I forgot. She has this I think 15 or 19 minute. It's like a presentation that she did where she talked about her. So it was really good video, especially for people that have they're sick. So, but yeah, so I think out of all these people, my guess is probably a dozen people or more that I've sent stuff and I talked about it. I have only like 2 positive, responses. Is that older gentleman and my mom, that she couldn't handle the carnivore, but at least she's gonna do the version of it, like a keto or something.
Yeah, I mean, the just even the 2 responses, that's awesome though, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's
'Cause
better than nothing.
it just grows slowly, but it's just that consistent growth and consistent number of people actually,
I
realizing
don't
how
give
good
up.
it is.
Yeah, I don't give up, and I'm gonna, like every time I have the opportunity, I shoot something, like I just forward something to people. I'm very sorry that there's so much of great information about this stuff in English. But for example, Russian has a very, very limited of info about that stuff. And there's a lot of negative stuff, like people doubting it. So I don't have much time, but I was really like trying to get some time and sort of maybe do like translations of the videos, maybe talk to like Dr. Barry or something, see if he can let me translate some of the videos, and maybe have some kind of a channel on YouTube discussing this stuff. Because a lot of people speak Russian, not just Russians, but a lot of Ukrainians, most of the people from the post-Soviet. So and everybody needs this, right? This is such a great way of getting your life under control and getting younger, getting healthier. So that's like, so but I don't have anything right now, so I don't have anything that I can share and say, people, you can contact me, or there's a channel you can check out.
Al, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really happy that you and I can talk and you let me share my story. So I hope it helps somebody.